There's no disputing that Australians' homes are their castles. After all, there's so much land to spread out on. This is a country almost as big as Europe, and yet only 20 million people live here. Only problem is, they have to share it with some of the world's deadliest creatures. Killer spiders that seek refuge in suburban homes. Venomous snakes that find their way into kitchen cupboards.
Oh, now he's striking everything. Now he's hissing.
Be over 1 million bees.
Bees that cause allergic reactions.
They're sort of angry today, they can get worse.
His eyes had started to swell up, he was yelling at me.
What's wrong with you,
And
old
crocodiles that get trapped in backyard fences.
Big, powerful animal. Their tail they used to twist, as you can see. They're quite a big size animal.
And suburban swimming pools. It's what happens when humans build on bushland once the solitary domain of wild creatures. And the consequences are chilling. Bites and stings that cause excruciating pain and sometimes death.
We didn't have to actually go and look for them because they were there.
Ahead, the creatures large and small that lurk and attack in the very places we live, as we encounter Australia's backyard killers. It's the great Australian dream, a home for the family on a quarter-acre block. But this family is not the only one living here. Meet the Sydney Funnelweb, considered the most dangerous spider in the world. It's the only spider known to have killed children in less than 2 hours. They're also intrepid explorers, known to travel long distances, often into suburban homes. This is the female of the species, armed with massive fangs and carrying venom of extraordinary potency. These funnelwebs are cunning intruders. They'll seek out hideaways that are sheltered, refuges that are cool and humid, like this basket of washing. And once inside and free to roam, they'll again take cover. It's a scene that could occur anywhere across much of coastal New South Wales, their known range. And the worst of it is, they love to hide in clothing and bedding and shoes. It is truly terrifying to encounter one this way.
Most fatalities from funnelweb spiders have happened over a period of several hours rather than minutes.
Dr. John Morgan knows all about funnelwebs. He's head of emergency services at Sydney's Royal North Shore Hospital and supervises the treatment of hundreds of bite victims.
Most of the burrowing spiders, they are poisonous. They've got big fangs, a good delivery system, and certainly all of the burrowing spiders are quite deadly to their normal prey. Interestingly, the funnelweb happens to be deadly to some humans as well.
So deadly is the funnelweb that 13 people died before antivenin was introduced 20 years ago. One 2-year-old victim died in just 15 minutes.
What the toxin does is it binds to the nerve cells and it causes massive release of neurotransmitters within the body. That causes release of adrenaline, causes your heart to race, causes your blood pressure to go up, you get anxiety, you get nervous, you get a tremor, you get all that sort of stuff. But as well as that, it also fires off what are called the parasympathetic system. Now think of any gland in the body that secretes things. With a funnelweb bite, you'll get massive outpouring secretions from that gland. So that combination of massive fluid outpouring into the lungs together with muscle paralysis leads to respiratory failure.
The lady's freaking out. There's a spider on my floor. My daughter's nearly got bitten, so as quickly as we can, we capture the spider because they are extremely venomous and we don't want anyone getting bitten.
Wazza Dyer has a deadly job. When killer spiders are found in suburban homes, he has to collect them.
They can go under the couch, in the bedroom, in the laundry, all places like that. And once they're gone, they're black, they just blend in. It's a pretty scary thing knowing you've got a venomous spider lurking in your house. Hey, how you doing? I'm Wazza.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you. So you got a killer in the house?
Certainly have. There's a spider in the chute.
Okay. They don't like the heat, and that's how she's ended up in your house. Oh yeah, there's a big spider in there. Lucky you didn't get bitten by this thing. Out you come. Ooh, look at it go. Now these animals are ferocious and fast. Now most people think that's the best way to capture them. It can be dangerous too. I'll show you why. If you miss the jar and you're not paying attention, your fingers are there, you're going to get bitten straight away. Now the way you find out if you've got a funnel web, they usually have a webbing about the size of this around the outside of the burrow. Say a bug comes walking through and touches that web that's around there. It sends all these vibrations down into the burrow where the female's laying. As soon as she feels that, straight out as quickly as she can. As she comes out, straight out of the burrow, whack, and really crushes in those fangs. It's pretty scary business. Ooh, that's exactly what we're talking about, the perfect strike stance. Now watch her as she strikes down. Whack, whack. Down those fangs come. And when you come, sweetie, really standing back, give her a bit of a nudge, and in she goes. It's always important you just be patient. You don't want to get bitten by this venomous animal. It's actually good that you didn't kill this spider. Too many people freak out and get the spade and whack, straight on the top of the head. So it's excellent that we've saved it so we can use this girl in a very useful manner.
Waz's job today is by no means over. He has to take the funnelweb back to the Australian Reptile Park to milk it, collecting toxic venom that will be later used to treat people who've been bitten by other funnelwebs.
This is the girl that we've just caught up. Look at those 8 legs moving. And the reason we stir them up is because we need, yes, that's exactly what we want. Just tiny little drops of water-like substance. That's her venom, and that's exactly what we're going to be extracting. People think that's cruel doing that. But see how her fangs, oh yeah, her fangs are exposed. That's exactly what we need. It's the only way she can strike out. There's tiny little droplets coming off there. Oh yeah, sucking straight up into this pipette. This exercise is extremely dangerous. She could fly off at any moment she wants. Turn, locate me, and come straight towards us. Now it's the male's venom. That's 6 times more toxic than this female here. The male has what we call pedipalps. Now those pedipalps constantly supply sperm, and what the male will do is he'll lay a web about the size of a 20-cent piece. He'll deposit all his sperm in there, he attracts the female, pins her down, lines those pedipalps underneath, and inserts them into the female genitalia, and that's how a spider breeds. And this is the tricky part. As soon as the male's done his business, she tries to eat the male, and he's got to be quick. If he's not quick, he's food. We're collecting this venom, suck it into this pipette, and flush this venom out of this device with acetic acid, freeze it, and send it straight down to the Commonwealth Serum Laboratory. And they freeze dry it and make it into antivenin for everybody if they ever get bitten by a funnelweb spider.
Back at the hospital, Dr. Morgan has some strong advice if you're ever bitten.
Look, I think the most important breakthrough in treatment of funnelweb bite is the antivenom, but maybe even more important than the antivenom is first aid if you get bitten. If you can confine the venom to the bite site, then you're not going to get sick. And you do that by using a bandage. Compress what's called the lymphatic system with the bandage. So you should start with the bandage nice and firm, a bit like bandaging a sprained ankle. Start at the bite site, which is usually on the hands or feet. Go all the way up to the armpit. And then put some sort of splint on if you like, but keep the limb still and then get to hospital. The incidence of envenomation from these spiders is probably less than 10%. But if you happen to be one of that, 5 to 10% is going to get sick. You can get very sick and very quickly.
The suburban swimming pool is the place to cool off and relax in the heat of summer. It's just so inviting, not only for the kids, but for dangerous wildlife as well. Snake! Now, kids and deadly snakes in the same pool are not a safe combination. That's where Peter Anion comes in.
Just in here, I don't know what it is. It's like round, but I'm not going to go in there.
Peter's a professional snake catcher.
Quite a regular occurrence to get snakes out.
There it is there.
They just gave us a ring and said, we've got an unwanted guest in the pool. Can you be the bouncer and get rid of him, please?
It's fast.
Catching a swimming snake is a dangerous manoeuvre.
Yeah, they can bite you in the water. Usually when people probably jump in on top of them and they come down on them and they'll bite, defending themselves.
They're highly unpredictable. If Peter falls in, he'd almost certainly be bitten.
This is a western brown or yagwarta.
These snakes have killed many people.
You probably find he's been chasing frogs and stuff like that around the pool. Yeah, that or he might have been thirsty and he's come in for a drink or been very hot and cooled down in the pool. They're not afraid to bite. They claim about 80% of fatalities are snake bites in Australia. They're a pretty flighty sort of snake. They get the name Gwarta from the black mouth. About average size, very hard to read. King Browns, these fellas can come straight back up at themselves on their tails and that and have you before you can even blink. So you always keep your eye on their head.
Is it dead?
No, it's alive and well.
For such small snakes, these Gwartas are big killers.
OK, kid, you can go for a swim now, eh?
They cause more life-threatening bites in Australia than any other snake. It's been a safe and successful retrieval, but not every recovery goes so smoothly.
One of the staff here alerted me that there was a snake in the area that needed removing, so I've scooped the snake out with the scoop and removed him from the pool area. The snake's fallen through this hole you can see in the net here. It's fallen on the ground. It's quite agitated by that stage, so I grabbed him behind the head. Some overseas visitors had decided they wanted to pat the snake, and in doing so pulled it through my hands and the snake bit me. Bitten here on the thumb. Didn't really think much of it at the time. One little drop of blood. Within about 15 minutes the vision became blurred, headaches, not feeling too well all over, and getting a red line from the thumb where I was bitten right up my arm. And within about 2 hours my blood became very thin, and then I was flown down to Perth for all flying doctor within 4 to 5 hours of the incident and admitted to intensive care. It's been about 7 weeks in hospital, and that I will have permanent kidney damage for anywhere up to 6 or 7 years. I can have recurring problems with this.
Peter McMillan has paid dearly for being a hero, almost losing his life retrieving this deadly creature.
Well, they were right as long as people leave them alone, I guess. Probably would have been a better idea to hit it with a spade and get it over and done with and try and let the snake live to fight another day.
Oh, to own a modest shack down by the river. The perfect holiday home, a place to get out on the boat. Such is the life for Harry Bowman. His weekend playground is the Adelaide River in Australia's top end.
Come on! There he comes, look, come on!
And his playmates are some of Australia's deadliest creatures.
Just watch his mate that's round the back. Come on, big fella.
Teaching them to jump for a piece of meat is one thing.
Here, mate, come on, here. You believe that?
But as Harry's about to discover, today a croc has broken the rules.
I've never seen one there before in my life. And we're on a very isolated bit of the Adelaide River, about 80 kilometres from the ocean. There's about a 3-metre crocodile caught up over there in the fence. Better put the gun on, I think. I'm not going over there without it. We've never used it in anger to shoot at animals, to kill them, but we've sure used it to save our own lives by firing to scare it off. So we're going to have this aboard just in case. And ironically, it's on a crocodile belt. We fenced the riverbank to, but obviously there's a dingo up there, and that's been the problem. That's what he's after. He must have killed this dingo. Oh, can have a feed later on. Let's go and see if it's hurt himself at all. He's obviously gone down into the fence to get back in the river, and he's really jammed up. He's got a bit of blood on his tail there, and if we don't get him out, it's going to kill him. What's wrong with you, old fella? You all caught up? Tail. Big, powerful animal. Their tail they use to twist, as you can see. They're quite a big size animal. That's not going to do any good, so he's obviously jammed himself down in there. What we've got to try to do is get that mouth closed, get some rope around the mouth, and then I'll cut the wire and get him out.
Now, who would ever believe any of this?
I'm going to get my digital camera.
Best to record the moment for the mates.
He's really hurt himself, tangled up in the family fence. Designed to keep them out, not in. We've got to be able to keep that jaw closed. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to make up a bit of a noose, like that, and put it around his jaw and pull it in. And what we're going to try to do is get this around him. This is a part of the whole exercise of living up here. especially when they get into your front yard. We had a fairly big one come over the riverbank about 4 or 5 years ago. Had some young blokes up from Melbourne and they had pig dogs. Told them to lock them up in the back of the ute, and guess what happened? Both of them got eaten. So there you go. But we fenced the riverbank, and now they want to come and visit us up here. Feel a good hand on him, he'd put you in hospital for a month. That's the one we want. Right around the jaw like that. Around his jaw, but you can't trust him. 3 or 4 times. There we go, so he's locked up. And he's been really ripped on the head. Don't like seeing him hurt, you know, it's awful stuff. I'm going to drag him up there and then we'll cut the rope and let him go. I could get a bit of rope around here and hook around that post there.
Harry wants to get rid of this croc, and quick. He'll have to tie him up first so he won't get bitten, then drag him out.
Tie him off there. Oh. Righto. Start getting serious on you, old fella. Get this bit of wire out. That's it. Starting to feel better. And that. Come on. Okay, he's clear. He should pull straight back out here. With a bit of luck. Pan up. So he's pretty tired. What would he be? 1, 2.5? Trying to bite me, but can't because we've got this around him. So we're going to get this off fairly smart now, because he'll be starting to stress out a bit, wouldn't you, old fella, hey? Oh, which is the quickest way for him to get in the river? Back up here. Unceremoniously, we've got to drag you back to the river, bloke. Come on. Back where you belong. Got a bit of weight in him. All right, we nearly got you, old boy. I must do something about the fence over here. Oh. All right, okay. We'll be happy to get back in that water, won't you, mate? This is the very important part of it and the very dangerous side, because once I open it, he can swing back on me, so we've got to get him comfortable. He goes in like that, we've lost him. We don't want to do that either, because he'll drown. Put the old slip knot on, so it should come out pretty good. There you go. Off you go, go on. Off you go. Off you go. Come on. Throw a bit of water on him and hopefully he'll just take off back into the river. There he goes. Oh, thank you, Harry. My backyard of the Northern Territory. Amazing, isn't it?
The Australian bush comes alive every spring. Wild plants explode into flower, producing a sweet nectar that attracts the honeybee. Bees and honey are big business for one Australian family, the Kershaws. But as we're about to see, the bee's sting can be deadly.
How many bees will be here? Dad, how many bees will there be here?
30 or 40,000, I think, box, I suppose.
Be over 1 million bees. They're sort of angry today. They can get worse, very worse. They can follow you around a lot and try to sting you through the veil and that kind of stuff.
Today I've been stung probably 15 to 20 times. The main thing when you're working is not to be rough on them, you know. You start bumping around and thumping around, they get more stirred up. Your hands and that toughen up after a while. You don't swell up, they still hurt.
It's alright if you're not allergic. If you're allergic, it's dangerous. You will get stung if you're here.
Everybody, if they're stung, is going to get a bit of pain and swelling. In people with serious allergies, however, the problem is not so much the poisonous venom, the problem really is the body's immune response to it.
So who is allergic to bee stings?
I emptied the skimmer box, banged the skimmer box on the fence, a little bit of what I just thought was muck from the pool flicked back onto me, and in amongst that was a half-drowned bee, which stung me straight away.
Noel Quanchy was about to find out the hard way. So too was Therese Kershaw from the very family that works with bees.
I was in the garden just moving the sprinklers, no shoes on, stepped on clover and got stung on the toe.
Went inside to the house, saw my wife and said I've been stung by a bee but I should be fine.
Felt swelling, my face and my hands.
About 1 in 250 people in the population is thought to be prone to dangerous allergic reaction.
Within 10 minutes my skin temperature was boiling. I said I was going to have a shower to cool down.
When dramatic allergic reactions occur, it is very frightening for everybody involved.
Most incredible itching that you would ever experience, and it wasn't just in one part of your body, it was your whole body.
His eyes had started to swell up. He was yelling at me, and because he'd just lost his hearing in his ears, and all the way to the hospital. You could just see him getting redder and redder and swelling up.
I was admitted and they gave me the injection, adrenaline injection.
I had antihistamines in my cupboard as well as liquid adrenaline, so I physically treated myself at home instead of going to the hospital.
People who've had serious allergic reactions need to know what to do if it happens again, and that means that they need to carry and know how to use an adrenaline device like an EpiPen. Spring-loaded needle, glass ampoule, and a needle that comes out about 1 centimetre at the other end. Hold it in your fist, take off the cap, and then hold it there for 10 seconds. It's a fixed dose. And it's given into the leg because you've got that much meat on you. You're not going to hit any nerves and arteries.
Your body release is like a balloon being let out very slowly. You could just feel yourself deflating.
Because of the rash that I got from the bee sting, stung on the toe and yet swelling of the face and redness all over, started thinking I've got an allergy here.
Theresa's search for help led her to Canberra specialist Dr Ray Mullins.
When you undertake immunotherapy, you'd start at a very small dose, like the equivalent of about 1,000th of a sting, and over a number of months build up to the equivalent of 2 stings at a time.
I got stung by a real bee on my arm, okay, and when they stung it, they waited for the sting to fall off, and then they squeezed with a pair of tweezers to squeeze the remainder of the sting into my body.
Once people reach that dose, they're almost always protected against a natural field sting.
I have only ever been able to go as far as 1 bee sting in my arm. Any further than that, I get a reaction.
My face went all red and started to swell. My ears started to swell internally. Had trouble hearing. My earrings you could hardly see.
Because symptoms can sometimes return, we advise people to be observed in casualty for at least 6 to 8 hours after a serious allergic reaction of any sort.
My body was trying to still fight that reaction off after 2 weeks.
So I stick to 1 bee sting, and it's monthly for a 5-year period.
The bee trial didn't work for me. Down here at the honey shed, because I've got an allergy doesn't mean that we still can't be involved. I just got to take precautions, carry my adrenaline with me, just in case.
For Noel, he knows his reaction, he knows his body, he knows his limits, but for me, all I can see is the symptoms, and they're scary. I don't want them near us.
I don't trust them one little bit, because the bee that stung me was in the pool and it was wet, so yeah, even when they're not the most mobile, they can still hurt. And I'm aware that this little creature can kill me.
It's every child's kingdom, the backyard. A place to play and run free. But this suburban lawn hasn't always been safe.
We actually had spiders walking all over the grass. At the night time, you come out and the grass was literally moving with spiders. So we didn't have to look for burrows. We didn't have to actually go and look for them because they were there. We'd walk out and there were spiders, hundreds of spiders moving around on the grass.
Leanne Osborne remembers well those nights of nightmares when those deadly spiders took over her back lawn.
I need another jar.
The invaders, mouse spiders.
They're 10 times more potent than the Sydney Funnelweb, but they don't inject as much venom into you as what the Funnelweb does.
What the Osborne family were encountering was an infestation.
Oh, here's another one. Oh my God, there's a huge one here.
There.
Look at that.
Big female.
Spiders crawling all over the back lawn of the house they'd only just bought.
We collected, altogether would have been over 1,000 spiders. On the actual night of the stakeout, we collected about 400 spiders.
It was a collection meant to eradicate the spider altogether. but not every single spider was captured.
My husband found 2 in the backyard, 1 underneath the house, and I found 4 in the front yard, and one of my children have found 1 in a cat's bowl in the front yard.
With the mouse spiders back, was a dyer from the Australian Reptile Park is called in.
The Osborns have told us there's seen an odd 1 or 2 around, so we need to make sure that this isn't an infestation. They hide deep in burrows, they come out at night time. Seeing them out during the day after rainfall, late in winter, is a perfect time to find them. So we're going to search the premises and see if we can clean up any mouse spiders. 2001 was the last time we were up here, and you've got reports of more mouse spiders around.
Yeah, well, we've had a couple of sightings since then. I was clearing up down in the backyard, and I got up the next morning and there's a mouse spider half squashed on the grass. The neighbours have found a couple in their pool. We've found a couple of mouse spiders underneath the house after a bit of rain.
So the mouse spiders are back.
Where is he?
But yeah, there's one here and there's one up in the garden there behind you.
Waz's job is to catch them.
I usually jam the hose down there and give it a flush out. But I knew you fellas were coming around this afternoon.
Let's check it out. We've got to make sure we catch them up.
Yep, for sure.
Let's go start digging.
Not a problem.
Got to be really careful because these animals can flare out at any time. I've got a couple of legs. This is good. Oh, there's movement too. Oh, there she is. Excellent. Well, it's definitely a female and she's big too. She's real big. Looks simple and easy, but you've got to make sure that you know what you're doing when you're picking up these things. There's one of our mouse spiders. Now this is a specimen jar. Obviously we're going to put her into a more permanent home, but for carrying purposes it's very safe. We're going to pop a lid, get it in the car, and we're going to go back to the reptile park. Let's check out that second hole. Now I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave you in charge of this girl, all right? Your backyard, your princess. Let's rip into this one now. Digging sort of deep here. Oh yeah, more legs. It's action time. Oh, unreal, perfect. Now, is it a little? No, it's a male. I was just thinking it's a juvenile, but it is a little boy. Oh, there you go. You come and wacko. Now we can have, give me a look and I'll show you these. Now see these 2 here, you can see the size difference. All right, now the male, much smaller, of course his venom is much more toxic as well. Now what'll happen, he's gonna leave his burrow and search for the female. Now he may cruise the whole backyard until he finds a hole. He could go in a cicada hole, a worm hole, but he's looking for the female. As soon as he finds it, a webbing, may just sort of give it a bit of a nudge, a pluck with his pedipalps there, just like a blind man when they move around, these feelers. It's gonna go down in there and breed with the female. As soon as that's happened, looking at the size difference there between the male and the female, if he's not careful, he's gonna get destroyed by this girl with those massive fangs. It's all it's about. Once she's bred, he's gonna cark it. And this girl here, she can live 20 or 30 years. So lots of living, no living at all. And that's why the girls are so big and chunky, cruising around, digging up that dirt, especially in your favourite backyard. So we'll keep on digging. We might even come back at night time when it's real dark, a little bit of rainfall, get the spotlights out like you did last time, see if we can see any movement on these lawns around here, eh?
For the Osborn family, today's discovery is chilling news. It's now become clear that no matter how many mouse spiders are collected in their backyard, there'll always be just a few that remain to haunt them. The gate may be open, but there's certainly no welcome for the deadly intruder who's found his way inside.
Yeah, Tim, I'll be there shortly. I'm just
Snake handler Rex Neindorf has been called in to track down and remove the unwelcome guest.
Basically, we got a call for a snake, probably a western brown or even a mulga. This time of night, you get mulgas starting to come out, so there's a few of them getting around. Last year we had about 350 calls, and that's over 6 months, mind you. You don't get anything during the winter months, of course. The snakes are all hibernating during winter. So when people ring, we just advise them to watch the snake, you know, hang back 5–10 metres. They've got cats and dogs, lock them away so nothing disturbs the snake. The snake will just do its own thing. OK, we found the place. Let's go and see what we've got. She reckons she saw about a couple of feet of it. I'd say a couple of feet's probably the whole snake.
Oh, g'day Rex, how are you, mate?
Good, mate.
Come on,
cheers. What have we got?
Just in the cupboard in the kitchen.
OK, this cupboard here.
It was back in the left-hand side down the bottom when I saw it.
How big was it, guys?
It was
big enough. Anything bigger than this is...
And just a plain colour, was it?
Yeah, just plain coloured.
I can't see him anywhere near the front of the door, which is good, so we'll look here. I can't see him. Now I can.
A bad one, like a poisonous one or something? Or?
He's Western brown. Yeah, he's a pale-headed Western. They are venomous. Very shy creature though. They don't like us, they prefer to keep away from us. They get into places like that all the time. Last year, almost 50% of every snake we caught are actually inside the house. But what we'll do is we'll catch him for you.
Thanks, Rex.
Usually I ask the guys to hold the bag, but...
No, I'll pass, thanks. Pretty comfortable over here,
Can you get out of there? Like, are you sure you'll catch him?
I hope so. Made a bit of mess here. Carb soda down there.
That's all right. We can clean that up.
Oh, there he is. He's right here. I might have to remove some of this stuff so I can get to him.
Whatever you need to do, Rex.
He's got his tongue coming out. He's having a good sniff. He's thinking, what the hell have I got myself into? And he's rearing up to strike at me.
Okay.
I'll try and get as much of this stuff out the way as possible so I can get in there. He's not a happy chappy. Oh, now he's striking at everything. You just lost your real chicken stock.
That's okay.
Getting extremely upset. Now he's hissing. See that beautiful dark mouth on the inside there? That means he's a Western. Lovely looking snake though. Beautiful copper colour body.
Yep.
He's about an average size around here. This will hold enough venom to kill about 6 of you guys, so we're looking at a fairly lethal little critter.
That's reassuring, Rex.
He can go right bush.
He's hiding behind the milk.
That's good.
Oh, there he comes. You can see their climbing abilities.
I don't want to.
We'll just believe what you say there, Rex, and yeah.
He's up over your milk right now.
I'm trying to think how the hell he got in there, you know, like just so quickly.
All we have to do is leave the cupboard open just a crack and they'll be in there, especially if they're following food. Food's a big priority for these guys. They don't need water so much though because they get most of their moisture from the food they eat, but if it's going to get dry then they'll just follow the food and he's coming out by himself. Very nervous animal, this one. Extremely nervous.
He's not happy, Rex.
He's not happy at all.
Jeez.
Oh, let's see if I can... Oh, not a happy chappy.
That's a lot. No.
Oh. Thanks, Rex.
How about that?
Oh, Rex.
Got him.
I think I need a drink.
I need a drink.
Oh, man.
Thank you very much, Rex. You can take him wherever you like.
Right, guys, I'll just show you what we've got.
Oh, geez, that's a professional at work. Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Okay, that's what we've just got for you. That there is a pale-headed Western brown.
Yeah.
And turn him upside down, see those freckles on the belly there?
Oh, yeah.
So those freckles mean he's a brown snake. This guy's an average size, could be a boy or a girl, haven't checked yet. It's a bit hard to tell in snakes. He's starting to get a little bit upset there, as you can see. He's had a big ordeal today.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh.
We'll take him about 40 k's out of town.
Oh, good.
He'll be released and most likely he won't come back.
Do they have a memory? Like, can they remember where they've been and can they come
They
back?
have their chemical trails that they follow when they live in this area, but when you take him away, he won't be able to pick up his chemical trail, so he'll be out bush.
Thanks, mate.
No problems.
Thanks a lot
Yeah,
for that,
cheers.
Rex. We really
It's okay.
appreciate it.
We'll tidy up.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Call you next millennium, yeah.
See you guys, thank you.
No worries, Rex. Cheers,
That's
mate.
okay.
Thanks a lot.
Will do.
When temperatures soar, Australians love to take refuge in cool and wet hideaways. So too does one intrepid intruder from the wild side.
In the washing machine.
When Jan Martin left her laundry door open, she was shocked to find a snake had slithered its way into a washing machine.
Whoa,
Ranger Kingsley Miller has been called in to collect it.
There's more than one in there.
You're joking.
No, there's 2 or 3. They're water pythons. Perfect habitat for them outside for a start. But what they've done, I think, they've probably come in the back and they've come up through here and into the agitator. They're good size too.
You can have them.
All right, not a problem. What I'll do, I'll just pull them out one by one. I won't ask you to give us a hand because they can be a bit snappy, these things. They've got a nice bite to them. But they're a beautiful animal. So I'll just grab them one at a time and bag them up. I'd say they've been in there mating. It's mating time. Here's the first one anyway. Typical water python. Beautiful colour underneath. Beautiful yellow, which is dead giveaway. It's got the diamond-shaped head. A lot of people misidentify these with King Browns. He'll probably have a little bit of a snap at you. I'll put that one in and I'll grab the other one. Come on, mate, let's have a look at you. They're a very social animal, the water pythons. They like staying together in sort of big social groups. Absolutely magnificent. They're a bit cold this time of the year. Obviously, I'd say 3 of them in there, the 1 female and 2 males. It's a bit of a mating thing. They're good frog eaters, these things. One of the main diet they like up here are the frogs. Small-headed python, diamond-shaped head. Reasonably common animal around Broome.
Ranger Miller now has 2 water pythons in the bag.
You would have got a shock when you opened that.
But the third one is proving far more elusive.
It's gone right inside, Jan. It's gone right inside. So what we're going to have to do is fill it up with water and it'll come out without much problem, I would say. I'd hope so anyway. Other than that, we're going to have to pull the whole thing apart. But yeah, if we fill it right up with water, I don't think you'll stay in there very long. You should come out. What you're going to have to do is keep your doors closed. Stop letting them get inside. Don't go back down there again, mate. They're so quick. Only need a couple of inches of head over there and they're away. No, he's out. Bit of a Houdini snake. But that's out. You're not going back in there. All right, good one. What we'll do, I'll take him down near the mangroves and I'll let him go down there. You're going to have to clean that out too, I'd say. Just give it a good wash out. All right?
Okay, thanks very much.
Not a problem.
For Jan Martin, wash day was never meant to include the snakes. She'll be closing her doors in the future. The sound of innocent laughter is one that rings out from children's playgrounds all over Australia. After all, it's a place to play, have fun. But playgrounds are also known to attract creatures that aren't at all playful. Meet the Redback Spider. This female of the species has a very painful bite. One expert on redbacks and their bites is Wazza Dyer. He's frequently called out to deal with them.
Hey Ricky, how you doing?
All right, yourself?
What's the problem?
I've just got a serious case of redbacks.
Okay, whereabouts are they?
They're mainly up in this shed.
Oh, hey, garden shed, prime example where we're going to find them. Now the good thing about spiders, and especially redbacks, when they make their homes up in the corners, that's where the insects are going to be. Moths and mosquitoes and flies get trapped in the webs. That's doing us a world of good. Whereabouts are you? You can see all the webbing now. This is a perfect example of these spiders. It's a massive infestation. Look at them all.
Yeah.
Oh, behind us too. Gonna get a ladder, capture them up. Let's check that puppy out. Oh, Ricky, you hit the jackpot here. They're definitely redback spiders, and the way we can tell is by their abdomen. That's the back part. This red stripe along here. Right? Watching where we put the noggin. 2, 3 on the move, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, man, I can count 8 just along this beam. So anywhere in excess of 50 maybe along this whole barn. Lucky you called us up, Ricky. Now, the interesting thing about the redbacks, they're not aggressive species of spider. What happens is they usually roll into a little ball when they're disturbed. These are all females along here. Now, in breeding season, they can have in excess of 50 to 100 little spiderlings. Now, you count that up, that's a fair few little redbacks running around. When we get bitten by these things, it can have drastic effects, and there are recorded cases of deaths. People come past and brush their hand or body up against the spider, not knowing it's there because they're so small. And that's when the fangs come in and penetrate into the skin. You get nauseated, vomiting, you get really aching limbs. It's pretty scary stuff. But in 1956 is when the anti-venin was first introduced, and ever since there's been no deaths recorded. He's so cute. There's 2. Go hang out with your little buddy. There's 3. Oh, here's a big mama. There you are, gorgeous. Oh, sweetie, down you come. Oh, yeah, you are a big girl, aren't you? Real big. Everybody reacts differently to the venom. Some people react and some people don't. Well, the reaction when you get bitten by a redback spider, most people think, oh, yep, funnelweb spider, spiders, get out the bandage. But with redbacks, you don't do that at all. You apply an ice pack. You get yourself to hospital as quickly as you can. When people see these animals, it's best to call up the experts and get rid of them. We really don't want anyone mucking around, putting their fingers near them. It's pretty serious stuff. Oh, come on, princess. This is your new home. We're going to re-release her back into her natural environment. It's really cool here. This metal is going to stay in the shade. It's not going to heat up too much. She can survive out here. It's their natural environment. Take them away from the house. We just don't need to kill them. It's just not necessary. And you go to live a luxury life.
In all, some 2,000 Australians get bitten by redbacks every year. Waz's rescues will help to lower that number. When Australia's friendlier creatures are orphaned or injured, there's an army of volunteers around Australia to take them into their home. So when one of those carers finds an uninvited guest at her place, a completely different strategy is initiated. Today, Eve Solomon has found a deadly intruder on her back veranda. Peter Anion is called on to remove it. It sounds simple, but as we're about to see, this is one highly agitated snake.
I'm sure he's in there still.
Yeah, what colour was he and about what size do you reckon?
He's brown, he's about this big.
Yep, okay then.
Okay. What's the best thing for me to do?
Just stand there, it'll be fine.
Okay. I'm sure he's still in there. I'm sure he's still in there.
Yeah, he's in here all right.
Yeah, no, I thought he'd still be in there.
Peter's rules for catching are very basic. Remove your shoes so you can move around very quickly.
Oh, great. Got him.
They're good to handle because they're very, very predictable. They're a real gentleman of a snake. They give you plenty of warning what they're doing. Yeah, it's not too bad a size. Very, very quiet, docile, but once you wind them up, they take an awful lot of slowing down.
Oh, great. Bag?
No, you just be there, love, you'll be right.
Have something on your feet when you're doing your shots, this fella.
No, can you be quiet, please?
And silence, please. It's critical he concentrates.
Sure you don't need a hand?
No, just shut up, please.
Wow.
Got to concentrate, he's too.
Well done.
There you are, this is the King Brown. One of the most feared snakes in the Kimberley. This fella's out of his comfort zone. That's why he's chewing on the bag. I'd say we've got a fairly nice sized male King Brown. Pretty good size for around this area. He's got a bit of a battle scar there on his tail, but very, very upset snake. They're actually very, very deadly. What makes them dangerous is the fact that when they bite, they chew the venom in and they don't let go. Like this fella here, just won't let go of the bag. He's trying to fill it up with venom and really prove his point, basically. If we have a look on the bag there, it's seeping venom all the way around the bag. If that was a human and that was your skin, he'd be just sitting there pumping the venom into you. They chew it in to make sure the venom's going in. So we better bag him up and put him back and let him go. Yeah.
For the King Brown, imprisonment is only temporary.
As you can see, the bag's very wet. That's one huge amount of venom on that bag there.
Oh, wow.
So
also,
you can see his two fang marks and all that yellowy liquid's actually venom.
Peter Anion is a snake lover, taking the deadly creature way out of town to be released. It looks like the perfect place to relax and unwind. That is, until a dangerous intruder manages to get through all the security fences and into the enclosure surrounding the swimming pool. Office manager here is Diane McGuinness. No way she can allow the croc to stay. The patrons here are clearly fascinated and concerned.
Get them all the time in Darwin. You see them every now and again, but I also think we're getting too many of them. I think they need to maybe consider culling them or doing something, because there's lots out there that people don't even realise. So close, and there's been a lot of tragedies lately too.
Time to call in the professional.
Hey, hi Diane, I'm Neil. Pleased to meet you.
Had a little surprise in our pool this morning. I haven't had anybody in there.
Neil Owen is an expert croc catcher.
I just want him relocated and out so you can go for a swim.
Be great.
Okay, I'll see what we can do.
Oh, there he is, over on the step.
Oh yeah? He's about 1.2, 1.3 metres. It's a good job you called us.
We had a crocodile that swam past here the other day. It was spotted by one of our members that was sitting up here, and it was obviously making its way around to the mangroves around the corner. About a 2-metre croc, I think, that was spotted, yeah.
They've had over 160 crocodiles removed from Darwin Harbour this year already.
Yeah,
so 2, 3 or
it?
4 metre crocs doesn't surprise me at all. We haven't had an attack this year in the Northern Territory that we know of, but I believe it's only a matter of time. As you see, even a small crocodile isn't intimidated of people, so if you've got a 2-metre croc out there, tell your customers. So I'm just going to check him out. He's probably going to be pretty feisty and won't appreciate human contact. Once I've got his jaws shut, because their opening pressure's very weak, whereas their closing pressure is absolutely massive. Cover his eyes, that relieves his stress, and then tape his eyes up, tape his mouth up, take him back to the park, and then all your patrons can come back.
He'll first assess the situation, then catch the croc and remove it.
Yeah, well, it's fine, yeah. It's absolutely fine. It's chlorinated water anyway.
Neil's plan is to swim down to the croc to catch it. He has to be very careful to stay well clear of its jaws and teeth. Those teeth carry highly infectious diseases. And this is one feisty croc.
He's pretty strong for a small croc. I guess all crocodiles are, even at this size. And give this guy 5 or 6 years, he'll be able to kill an adult human being without a shadow of a doubt. He'll be over 2.5 metres in length. Just need some help to try and gaffer tape him up. As you see, have a look at these teeth here, mate. Wow. Imagine if that had grabbed hold of any of your patrons. They've been in a bit of trouble. Very, very sharp and powerful. They normally have between 64 and 68 teeth. Not sure that you want to count them now, but have a look at the size and the sharpness of those teeth. They are actually hollow, and they do regenerate. They grow back throughout his life. So he could have as many as maybe 2,000 or 3,000 different teeth, because they can live 80 or over 100 years.
That's incredible.
Now, as you can see, the teeth aren't serrated, so they can't literally bite chunks off. They have to bite and twist. That's why a lot of people that survive crocodile attacks talk about the death roll. It's where they just roll and spin you. They're trying to remove chunks from you while he's still alive. So I'm going to ask you to help me just tape him up now. Thumb on top of the head, just fingers underneath. Mind the nose. That's
that way?
Jaws, please. Yes, perfect. That's it. Around 2 or 3 times should be sufficient. Do as many as you think, and then always one more. Okay, that's pretty good. Yep. Beautiful. Perfect.
Well, I certainly didn't think I'd be doing this today, coming to work.
If you could do the same, just once or twice over the eyes, because that reduces stress levels. A bit round one more time, and pull off, that's fine. That is beautiful.
And so another rescue operation ends without death or injury. A reminder of the dangers that so many Australians face in their own backyards.
Let's see if we can swim again.